Welcome to another edition of Dad's Divorce Live. I'm Matt Allen, editor of DadsDivorce.com. Today we're talking about alimony reform with Dick Lindsey, who is the chairman of the Alliance for Freedom from Alimony. Dick, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for asking me, Matt, and we're welcome to work with you people any way we can to reform the alimony scheme and to educate the public as to what they can expect when they walk into divorce court, which is not nice.
Sure. So let's talk about alimony reform. Why is there a need for it? What's the problem here?
Well, alimony destroys the family ties. It bleeds off the family's assets. It holds, the state then holds one party in bondage to the other, oftentimes for life. It's a very strong mental anguish type of punishment, and they use alimony to punish you, even though there is no wrongdoing on your part. There's no fault. You probably know there's no fault divorce in Florida and in numerous states.
Yeah, I believe all 50 are now no fault divorce states.
So one spouse can just simply walk away from the other and go into court and say, okay, I want to tear him up or tear her up. Mm-hmm. It's usually the women, and 80% of the cases, the women are the ones who file the divorce court, and the man is then left at their mercy of the divorce court and the legal industry, which is oftentimes cruel.
Sure. So you feel alimony unfairly targets men?
Oh, definitely. We've done research on it, and we've found that approximately 99% of the cases that involve alimony, the man is the payer.
Yeah.
There are a few women now that they're making pay alimony if they're productive, versatile women, and they wind up with a bum. Then they can be held in bondage and forced to pay alimony also. But by and large, most of those that are paying alimony are men. They use the deep pocket, the ability to pay barometer very heavily. There's instances where both parties are very similar financially as to their employment and their benefits and so on, yet frequently in that case the man will be ordered to pay alimony even though there's oftentimes no real need for it.
Sure. And I've read about your organization, and on your website it states that you believe alimony violates the 13th Amendment of the Constitution. Could you explain your reasoning on that?
Oh, sure. When you're ordered to pay alimony, you're held in bondage by the state, and a certain percentage of they actually have a claim on your body, and it's involuntary servitude, and the 13th Amendment says neither slavery or involuntary servitude shall exist. So they're violating that portion, at least, of the constitutional rights, and some of the courts have held that when you take out a marriage license that you waive your constitutional rights. When you're paying alimony, you receive nothing in return for it, so it's obviously involuntary servitude. The one who receives alimony is not required to do anything. They can leave the country, and still the state will force you to pay alimony to them.
Well, what do you say to the critics or those in favor of alimony who say that it's meant to sustain the lifestyle that the ex-spouse was accustomed to?
Well, it's designed to maintain a lifestyle of one ex-spouse and destroy the lifestyle of the other ex-spouse.
Okay.
So it's obviously there's no place in today's world with that type of a destructive system. I'll give you an example. Somebody's wife develops alcohol and drug addiction, mm-hmm. and you say, I'm not going to finance your habit. So then they say, okay, fine. So they go to divorce court and say, here I am, I'm an alcoholic, I'm disabled, or whatever you want to call it, so I need support for the rest of my life. So then the court will then force other person, the man, to pay each month, and each month is a separate payment for the rest of his life, even though he did nothing wrong, and the one that received it was obviously the bum and violated all types of good judgment, yet you are held required to pay.
Right.
And that actually happens. We have case histories of that.
Well, finally, before I let you go, is your goal to just get rid of alimony completely, or are you looking to reform it, maybe have alimony, reduce the payments, or what is the mission here?
Okay, we like to use Texas and Indiana as examples of what they do. For example, Texas limits alimony payments to no more than 3 years. They limit the amount of payment to no more than $2,500 or 20% of the payer's gross income. There are requirements that the recipient make good faith effort to be self-supporting. What we're seeking is, in Florida, it's open-ended. The law leaves to the discretion of the judge and the legal parties that are involved. It's wide open. There's nothing specific. And Florida has permanent lifetime alimony, and we're seeking to change that into a reasonable situation. It might be a percentage of time, like 1/4 the length of the marriage, or it might be 3 years or 4 years or 2 years. But what we're looking for is specific guidelines in the statute, similar to what criminal court has. Criminal court says that if you rob somebody's house, you'll get 2 to 3 years.
Right.
In divorce court, it's wide open. It's left totally to the discretion of the system. So we're looking for specific guidelines within the statute that says that if someone's married for a certain length of time and there is a need for alimony for a certain length of time, then it can be considered by the court, and that the amount of it should not exceed, like the guidelines that they use for welfare or something
right.
of that nature. That's what we're looking for.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, Dick, good luck in your reform efforts, and thanks for joining me today.
Okay, we'll look forward to hearing from you.
All right, that was
My
Dick.
best to you.
You too. That was Dick Lindsey, the chairman of the Alliance for Freedom from Alimony. That'll do it for this edition of Dad's Divorce Live. I'm Matt Allen, editor of DadsDivorce.com.